Hey guys, Desolate Magic here, and just wanted to comment on something that's been floating around. I looked into it, and it is just as horrifying as I thought, if not worse. The judge program, at least in America, their official stance and Wizards' official stance on this is we don't background check judges. Or perhaps not background check, but it's like a child safety check or something, which is basically the same thing. Well, some group of judges or whatever, their official statement was, it depends on the local laws. So let me translate that for you. In some states and some countries, if somebody is going to be working with kids, volunteering or not, because remember, they're all volunteers, they're not employees. I mean, they're basically unpaid employees is what they are, and that lawsuit, I think, is still pending. But even if it's a volunteer position, you have to background check people who are working with children. Magic as a product is, of course, rated 13 and up. I constantly see people under 18 in F&M and have through the whole history of playing Magic. And actually, one of the WPN rules is you cannot put an age restriction on any kind of sanctioned play, F&M or anything, which is hilarious because you can't set it at like their suggested limit of 13. You can't just say you must be 13 and up to play F&M because the product says 13 and up. Like, they specifically said you have to let anybody of any age within reason, blah, 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 discretion, whatever, because why would you let a 5-year-old play Magic? That would just be weird. I don't think they're quite there cognitively at that age, although I do know some 8 and 9-year-olds who are pretty damn good at the game. So I found that to be an odd rule, and now I find it to be an even more strange rule considering they don't background check anybody unless they legally have to. So, like I said, if I were to translate into my take on this, it's just such a bother and it's such a non-issue. It's not on our radar and we don't find it important enough to make it a mandatory rule that we'll only do it if we're legally required. Really, Wizards? Really? You think that's a good idea? So now the counter argument could be made, well, they don't background check the players either, and they're showing up to F&M, so dangerous people are dangerous people. You're in the public, you never knew who you're going to bump into. Anybody anywhere could be a total creeper, so, I mean, whatever, except that, like, the judge automatically, by default, has, like, power over you. Like, they have influence, they are above you at the event. They could, if they wanted to, disqualify you and recommend you for a DCI ban. So they can do things that affect your actual real life and your status in the Magic world. So that whole mismatch of power thing, that's not good. Oh, in fact, geez, something sounds really familiar with this. Oh, that's right. In Canada, a judge was, a level 3 judge, by the way, was recently caught at a very large tournament inappropriately harassing a player and saying very inappropriate things to her. In fact, the version I heard was he was trying to literally use his actual, like, title and power as a judge to, like, influence her into doing things, and that is ridiculous. Honestly, I hope he drops dead. Unfortunately, he's not DCI banned. He is welcome to go play at the next tournament and reapply for the judge program. Thanks, Wizards. Makes me feel safe. So, 2 for 2 on being weak against total creepers, just inappropriate people, on up to, like, straight up, like, creepy pervs and kidnappers. I'm trying not to get this damn video demonetized. Y'all know who I'm talking about, okay? Creepers. So here in the US, we have this wonderful thing called the registry, and it's a list of people who have committed certain types of crimes in the past, and I get the impression that the judge program doesn't even check that. It's public records. You don't even need, like, a paid subscription to whatever so-and-so court system background checking service. You can just look up the public records. So the way I understand it, right now, this second, your kids could be going to F&M with a judge who I believe has to be there by rule. They changed it a while back. You can no longer hold F&M without a judge, so the judge there could be a registered offender, and you're sending your kids there to F&M with that person. Wizards does nothing about it, and unless your state required a background check and the shop knew to comply with it and actually did comply with it instead of just saying they did, unless that took place, it could be anybody. It could be a convicted felon. Ironically, they've kicked convicted felons out of tournaments before for being convicted felons. This is the most mind-bendingly uneven application of rules I've ever seen a company use. Well, except for Twitter and their double standards based on your political affiliations. You can say whatever the hell you want as long as you're liberal, and you can't say a damn thing even that's protected by free speech if you're a conservative. So this is deeply concerning, and let me go a layer deeper because you guys know how far out in the left their ridiculous Seattle-based company is, right? I mean, they have lost it. Like, we're talking, they make Google look conservative. Let's just say there's some far left nut jobs that are picking up traction saying, hey, you know what we did for gay people and how, oh, you're born that way, you can't help it, and blah, 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 whatever. Yeah, they're trying to do that with people who are attracted to kids, which is ridiculous. Hey, go ask Philip DeFranco what he thinks of those people, but it is literally a group, and I'm not just talking like NAMBLA, it's like the SJWs. They're just blanketing everything. Oh, whatever your preference is, that you can't control it. They refuse to admit that mental illness is a thing, like, ever, for anyone. Oh, except for, like, depression and anxiety, which they all claim they have. You ever notice that every single SJW suffers from depression and anxiety? Every single one. Maybe it's because they're mentally unstable to begin with. I'm not saying they're lying. So maybe some people at Wizards aren't enforcing this, or they're enforcing it to the bare legal minimum instead of, like, the safe minimum, we'll say, the best practices approach, because they think that there's nothing wrong with those types of people, and society really just takes a dump on them unfairly. So they're just secretly not gonna, discriminate against those people by not letting them be judges. Child safety go out the window, who cares? God forbid we make somebody feel not welcome if they're a total creeper. So that's my theory, and I'm not just throwing it out there as an option. I think that's what it is. Personally, I do believe that enough people work there who are in charge that they kind of made this be a thing. So obviously go to Big Daddy Hasbro and tell them, hey, did you know that the judge program doesn't enforce any kind of child safety? This is Hasbro, okay? I'd say they care about child safety, but my last video on Hasbro about how they were fined like a lot of money. I don't remember. I want to say like 400 million or something, because a whole bunch of their software platforms and products were found to be illegally spying on children, which is illegal in like pretty much every country. It's illegal to sell a smartwatch to a child or have a child use a smartwatch in Germany right now, okay? Other countries kind of care about, like, tracking kids and stuff. Not Hasbro, though, but I guarantee if they see this PR, like, hurricane blowing in and they're like, oh my god, everybody's going to go to the press and say that we let total creepers and pervs be judges in the judge program and, like, rule over your kids at F&M. Oh, they don't want that hitting the press. They just don't. Whether they think there's anything wrong with that or not, at a basic administrative level, they're going to think something's wrong with it from a PR level. Trust me. So naturally, tweet everybody you possibly can. Hey, did you know that this is what MTG does? This is what Wizards of the Coast does? Did you know that they're knowingly not only dodging the issue on social media, everybody who inquires about it just gets blocked and they don't respond instantly. They're like sweeping this under the rug. Well, guess what? The rug's getting full and it's a big giant lump and people are starting to look at the rug like, I wonder if there's something under there. Let's lift it up. Dude, my metaphors are like on point today. So everybody do your part in naming and shaming Wizards, because the more PR nightmares and blow-ups Hasbro has to hear about from them, even, after the whole Jeremy thing, it's just one after another with them, and they're losing customers left and right, and I guarantee Hasbro's already like breathing down their neck over that, because they're starting to ask why. And I'm sure their management is making ridiculous excuses like economics, competition from digital, blah, blah, blah. No, it's your own management policies, your garbage quality printing, and your massive misdesigns of standard. 5 cards, people. 5 cards were banned. Wizards doesn't know how to design a set that's fair or fun to play anymore. They just don't. So losing money and constantly causing bad press and PR nightmares, yeah, I think Hasbro, if they hear one more thing about Wizards, they're just going to gut the whole management and replace them with people who know how to do their job. In fact, they could drop in the most liberal nut job people to manage a company as long as they're capable of keeping their personal beliefs and politics out of the company. Like a professional, like an actual executive who actually went to like a business university. So make sure everybody hears about this. Send it to everybody on social media. Make a bunch of noise about people letting creepers into the judge program, doing nothing about it. At the very worst, like to get the least traction impact out of this, they would be forced to change it, and then people will be safe. And honestly, which one do you think is worse from a press standpoint? 150 judges removed from the judge program because they're found to be, offenders on a certain list, or Wizards doing nothing to protect your kids while playing Magic. Like, which one's worse? I'm not even sure, and one of the two will come out, because I guarantee there's some people that would not pass a background check that are judges right now, active judges. And if you're really feeling bored, call in, or have like some mom-sounding person, some like concerned parent, or like, if your kids actually do play, or if you just want to play a parent on the phone, call up Hasbro's customer support or email them and say, hey, I just heard from a friend of a friend, or it's going around as a story on social media, that you guys are letting certain people, be a judge at a tournament and like tell my kid what to do and affect their future DCI account and everything. They got all this influence and they could easily coerce people, and you're not background checking any of them at all. Like, you're just letting random people just volunteer at these tournaments. If they get more than a couple calls like that, oh my God, is this going to blow up? And I would love to, because, it's not like I'm actively trying to destroy Wizards of the Coast right now, because I kind of care about Magic, but they don't, and they're ruining it, so what the hell? Take the axe to the company and just cut the head off. That's a metaphor. I'm not saying people should literally do that. So that's your great news for the day, and, look, this isn't even just, sensationalized, trumped up nonsense. I'm not exaggerating. Legit get the name of the person who's the judge, and honestly, the shop owner too. Why not? Any kind of staff, get all their names and look them up in very public databases. And you want to make more of an impact? Call up Hasbro and tell them, Wizards of the Coast is dodging my question and saying that it's a state issue and it's a local issue and they're not going to touch it. And we have a registered offender there playing Magic with my kids as a judge. So if you guys find one, oh my God, I'd love to hear about it. Send me a message on something. So that's your Christmas break homework. And legit, for your own safety, your kids' safety, check these people out. In fact, do it for any group they go to. Do it for a nonprofit group. Look up people's staff, name at the Y and stuff, which they have a strict policy of background checks for the YMCA, by the way, but it never hurts. Some people might slip through the cracks. Who knows? It's not paranoid to look up everybody your kids associate with in any kind of group or anything anywhere. I think it's reasonable at this point. It's not overboard. It's not being a psycho parent. No, I think it's a reasonable thing to do. So anyway, enough about this wonderful topic. I will see you guys next Hasbro disaster.